Hello, my name is Druz Feugo. When I was just a baby, I was separated from my parents. I was found by some fishermen just off the coast of a small town. They rescued me from the water and took me to the temple in this small town and left me with the priests. I barely remember my time in this town. I was only around 6 years of age when tragedy struck it. A great tidal wave struck the town. The elders in the temple told me to go hide in a well in the middle of town. I must have been in that well for several hours. I believe it was getting close to daylight when I saw two strange figures peering down into the well. One of them called out to me and asked, "Are you okay, dearie?" It sounded like an older lady. I called back saying that I couldn't get out, that I was stuck down there. She lowers a rope down to me and pulls me out of the well. Much to my surprise, it was an old elven lady and a large boar. In my youth, I was confused. I was just standing there panicking after they pulled me out of the well, not sure what to do. The old lady spoke softly to me, told me that I could come with her, stay at her cabin in the woods, at least until I could find a way to get on my feet. I happily took the lady up on her offer and followed her and the boar into the woods. As we were walking to the cabin, she introduced herself as Luna Yandere and told me the boar's name was Gorp. She told me once we reached the cabin that I was allowed to stay as long as I like, as long as I pulled my weight. I was excited to hear this, so I spent the next few years helping out, doing all that I could for Luna. Me and Gorp became very close friends during this time, very much inseparable. When I was around 10 years old, I learned that Luna was an ancient Druz. She told me how she had served under a king. This very much excited me. I asked her if she would train me in her druid craft, but she refused at first. After many months, I finally convinced Luna to take me under her wing and show me the ways of the druid. She told me it was a very lonely life and asked if I still wished to learn. Me in my young age, I did not give it a second thought. I excitedly told her, yes, I wish to learn. Shortly after this, we began my training. I'm sure I wasn't the greatest student she ever had. I trained for many years under her, learned all that I could, kept pushing myself to go farther, become stronger. That was some of the fondest memories I've ever had. I guess at this point in my story, I was around 20 years of age. I can remember that day clearly. Luna seemed very off that morning. She was not very engaging in conversation and seemed very glum. Me and Gorp went off for our daily trudge into the woods to try to collect herbs and other plant life, where we heard a great explosion coming back from towards the house. We rushed back towards the house to find Luna in a battle with around 10 hooded figures. The woods around were ablaze with fire along with our house. Me and Gorp rushed in to try and help. Gorp plowed down 3 of them, no problem. I ran in myself and attacked one from behind. He fell. As I attacked him, another one lunged at me. At that moment, suddenly, roots erupted from the ground, wrapping around all of the hooded figures and dragged them into the earth. It was at this point I realized just how strong Luna was. I looked up at her. She looked very bad, bleeding profusely from her side. I ran to her. She told me to listen to her, be quiet. We did not have much time. She told me to run into the house, grab her journal, get Gorp, and leave this place. As I did not wish to argue with her, I ran towards the house. The whole time I was thinking there's no way I'll be leaving Luna. I run in the house, everything is on fire. I run to her bedroom. Her journal is sitting on a table beside her bed, engulfed in flame. Oddly, the book itself was unharmed. I grab it and run back outside. I yelled for Gorp as I exited and started running directly back towards where I left Luna. I did not notice the hooded figure standing over her till I was almost tripping over him. He hit me with some kind of spell. It blasted me back off my feet, threw me almost 30 feet. I landed on a bush that seemingly appeared from nowhere, cushioned my fall. It could have been much worse. I get back to my feet and at this point I hear Gorp. He has forced the hooded figure away from Luna, back towards the tree line. I run back to Luna. She looks at me weakly and says, "Didn't I tell you to get out of here, boy?" I explained to her that I would not be leaving her. Her and Gorp were all the family that I knew. At this moment I see a soft smile appear on her face. She tells me that she's very happy that I felt that way, but she was already dead and that I must go. She hands me a small stone on a rope around her neck. She also tells me she knows I have many questions that she has not answered yet, but I should read her journal. They were answered, but I should read her journal, and most of my questions should be answered. It was at this moment, with a loud bang, Gorp lands beside us. I stand back up and turn around and see the hooded figure coming back at us. I charge towards it, but I fall to my knees about halfway there. I can hear the figure chanting. I feel as if all my strength is being drained from me. At this moment, a large stone flies past me and strikes the figure where a face would be. I see Luna back on her feet, looking very weak. The figure starts to laugh and asks her how the poison is treating her, and then I see Luna's body start to turn. I had never seen her do this before. Her body starts to grow, sprouting hair all over it. She becomes a great beast. It looks very similar to a bear, but much larger in size. She charges the figure. All of a sudden, a large number of arrows from the forest strike her. Some burst into flame and some just merely explode as they make contact. Her body crashed to the ground and turns back to normal. The man walks up, picks her up by the front of her robes, and starts talking about how he's finally won. There's no one left to stop him now that she has fallen. And to my surprise, Luna starts laughing and calmly says to the man, his son lives on. The man stops laughing, drops Luna, looks at me and lunges. I close my eyes, bracing for the impact, but it never comes. All I feel is a warm, sticky liquid hit my face. I open my eyes to see the man stuck midair with a root through his chest. As he falls limp, I get back to my feet, feeling my strength return. I call for Gorp. I take one last look at Luna, climb on his back, and we ride. As I'm riding through the woods on his back, we can hear what sounds like hundreds of men heading towards where Luna lies. Gorp runs through the night and we make our way to a village on the outside of the forest. We find our way to an inn and we spend a few days there. In this time, I decide to start trying to read Luna's journal. As I examine the book, I notice it is made of very fine leather, and the clasp has a small indentation on it. And then it hits me. I take the small stone out of my pocket and place it on the clasp of the journal. It clicks open. As I start reading this journal, I learn Luna is much older than I thought she was. It seems she was of 730 years of age, if not more. She had indeed served many kings. She had fought in many wars as a druid warrior. She was even an advisor to a few of them. I also learned that she has only taken one other student in all these years. His name was Draven Feugo. I remember this confusing me, for I did not know the name, but it seemed very familiar. It also had directions to a safe house, about a week's travel from where we were. So after we have rested, me and Gorp head towards the safe house, following the instructions in the journal. Me and Gorp find the house with little trouble, thanks to the instructions of the journal. When we get there, I start looking around the house. I see that there are many books there that will help me with my training. There was an ample supply of everything that we could possibly need. And then under a bed, I find a chest with a name on it, Draven Feugo. I open the box and I look within its contents to find a painting of a Water Ganassi family. A man, a woman, and a small baby in the woman's arms. Turning it over and looking on the back, it simply says, "We have a new family member," and it has my name on it. Confused, I delve into this chest, looking at everything that I can find. I find many letters that had been sent to Luna. As I read through these letters, I learn that Draven Feugo was my father. It seems that my father became Luna's pupil while she was serving her most recent king as an advisor. He fought in the last great war with her, and apparently did fairly well for himself. The king appointed him a lordship for his service in the war, and then as I get towards the end of the letters, they start getting kind of worrisome. My father was writing Luna telling her that he was afraid a group of wizards that they had defeated were plotting revenge on the kingdom. He feared for his family's life. It was the last thing he wrote to her. After learning this, I decide to hone my druid skills to try to find my father's murderers. I assume that they are the same people that came after Luna. I spend the next 10 years in solitude in the forest, out at this cabin. After spending all those years, learning everything that I could, training as much as I could, I have left my solitude. I returned to the place where Luna's last battle was. I found a very large tree in the middle of the forest, where best my memory Luna last lay. There was something there that I recognized. It was a druid message. It said, "Rely only on yourself, but trust in those you call friend." I believe this to be the last message that Luna ever left me. Me and Gorp part ways. I tell him the forest here needs him more than I do, and I set out, searching for the band of wizards that has caused all this harm to me and my family. Hey guys, Dragon here. Just wanted to say thanks for checking out the video, and sorry it took me so long to get it up, but I am going to attempt to start doing these weekly. Again, I'm going to leave a link to the PDF for the character sheet down in the description. I had a lot of fun making this guy, and yeah, come back for more.